Ladies and gentlemen, All Saints Catholic Church in Dallas, Texas welcomes you to All Saints Coffee Chats.
We are on. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Coffee Chats. This is episode 61.
Yeah.
Wow. So we've been doing this for 61 weeks. That's fantastic. All right, we are very happy to have with us today our new Parochial Vicar here at All Saints, Father Garrett Bockman. So welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I just, my assignment started July 1st and got to preach this last weekend on our independence. So
Yeah.
Everything's going well so far.
Good.
Well, very
Glad you're
good.
with
So
us.
because we are All Saints, we always like to start off with the question of, is there a particular saint that you have a devotion to, or any saint right now that you might be feeling a devotion towards?
Yeah, I've been reading a lot of Teresa of Avila, and I did bring a quote.
Oh, nice.
So she said, "Mental prayer, in my opinion, is nothing else than an intimate sharing between friends. It means taking time frequently to be alone with Him who we know loves us. The important thing is not to think much, but to love much, and so do that which best stirs you to love. Love is not great delight, but desire to please God in everything."
It's beautiful. I love I love that idea that it's not so much of how you think through prayer or what you say, it's that you actually feel and express it in that way. We have the question all the time that comes from our youth and our young adults of like, I don't know how to pray, or teach me how to pray, or what do I need to say, or what do I need to do? And she answers it so clearly of like, no, it's the love that you have in expressing that love in that way. So that's beautiful.
Yeah, she calls this recollection, or the prayer of recollection. And that's a great word, and it's a great translation of whatever the Spanish is, because even that word to recollect just means to gather your thoughts together. And what she means by that is to literally be present to the one to whom you're speaking. So when you're in prayer, it doesn't matter, like you said, the words you're saying. It doesn't matter if you say 1, 2, 3, 4 rosaries. What it matters is how much during those rosaries, or the Our Father, the prayers of the Mass, how much you're being present to the one to whom you're praying. And so that's a beautiful, and it's simple. It's so simple.
Yeah.
So in my own prayer, now I've simplified it to just simply try and be present. I'll bring scripture, I'll bring different things to prayer, but my focus is on being present, and that she also, I think, talks about swatting away flies or gnats, and so to swat away those thoughts that are trying to distract me. And that for her was the path to the greater, the greater graces of prayer.
Very cool.
Very simple.
Yeah. What about you guys? Any saints?
No, I.
So many directions you can look.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about Saint Kateri. She was our saint of the week for our junior high email thing. So I try and write a paragraph of hey, this is who this saint is. Y'all should check her out. But just remembering that's my grandparents are at a parish that is Saint Kateri. My cousin's confirmation saint was Saint Kateri, and then just the fact that she was somebody who lived in maybe Canada, but North America, and is a saint. That's always just something kind of cool to think about. There's all the the great Italian and Spanish saints and anybody else, but it's just something kind of cool to think yeah, I maybe have been around there, so.
Yeah, I found Saint. I think her feast day is coming up this week, actually. Saint Veronica, one of the Saint Veronicas, and she had the stigmata that she received. Gosh, I think she was 30 or so. But when she was a young child, her mother died, and she had 4 sisters, and her mother, not the exact word, but essentially gave them to, like, gosh, I'm struggling for a word right now, but prayed for them and kind of gave them to the wounds of the sick of Jesus, the 5 wounds of Jesus, her and her 4 sisters. And so then she ended up joining the Sisters of I think it was the Poor Clares. Does that sound right? Is that in order? I don't know why I'm totally drawing a blank on all of this that I read. Forgive me. Lots going on in this brain right now. But yeah, just kind of learning about her story and like her persistence through like all of the adversity that she faced.
I saw St. Maria Goretti's name recently. Her feast day was recently, right? That's because I saw her name and I was like, that happened recently, for sure.
It did?
Good.
Good.
Then it
We
makes
all need
sense.
more coffee this morning.
I know. 2 cups is not enough, obviously. But I saw her name recently, and I was thinking about her, and she was the first, like, saint relic that I ever experienced. I was, like, pretty young when we saw her. Gosh, my younger sister was, like, she was, like, 11, so she was, like, around the age that St. Maria Goretti was whenever she died, so I remember that being, like, a super, like, surreal experience, because, one, at the age that I was, I remember I did not even know that, like, saint relics were a thing. So I was like, what are we doing tonight? Like, where are we going? And just the fact that it, like, happened in my hometown, and we, like, did a lot of research before, and it was just this whole, like, process leading up to the Mass, and then getting to see, like, her relics after. It was, like, super surreal. And then I was comparing that to, like, going, like, being in Europe, to where, like, that's something that just kind of happens every day. Like, you stumble upon, like, the relics of saints, and comparing those experiences, like, wow, this first time was so insane for me, and then whenever I was there, it was just like, oh, there's the relic of so and so, like, that's pretty cool. But just kind of made me think again about how unique and kind of crazy that is. And I feel like in, like, Rome and stuff, I would go around and see stuff and not really think twice about it. So now, like, thinking about St. Maria Goretti again, and, like, the first time I saw that, I'm like, no, this is a big deal. Like, people don't, and, like, non-Catholics don't really understand it, because it sounds kind of weird. Yeah, just kind of reflecting on that experience and that whole thing. It was, super, super surreal.
Is she one of the Incorruptibles? Wasn't
I
she
was
the
gonna
one that was
ask
here
that.
in Dallas?
Yeah.
a few years
Yeah,
back?
that's when it...
Yeah.
Well, I felt like
High
forever ago.
schoolish,
Maybe it wasn't.
Well, I want to say it was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
They brought her to
Yeah.
St. Monica's, I think.
Yeah.
They did kind of
They were doing like
tour-ish
a
around the United
tour
States.
around.
So it
Yeah.
was-
Yeah.
Okay, so it must have been part of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because she came through Baton Rouge.
Yeah. I remember that.
That's when that was...
Yeah.
So I
wild.
made a promise a couple weeks ago on Coffee Chats that I was going to come up with an answer for why Saint Drago was the patron saint of repulsive people. And so I forgot about it last week, and then I went back and did some research. So Drago was born, his mother was killed or died during delivery, and he always blamed himself for the first 18 years of his life. And so he began pilgrimages to Rome because he believed that the only person that could forgive him was the Pope. And so he spent the next 9 years taking 9 or 10 pilgrimages to Rome to try to interact with the Pope, and never had a chance to. And on his way back during his last pilgrimage, had some sort of physical abnormality that just happened, and became so repulsive that people would run away from him. And that's where the story kind of gets kind of strange. So they said some people like ran from him in fear, and some people just like couldn't understand what he was going through. So he went back to where he was born, his home, and he was such a revered person in the town that he was born in because of his faith, that people began to see him by locating. They would see him at Mass and also see him tending to sheep in the field. And they ended up building he decided he wanted to be a hermit in the town that he was born in. And so they built a cell for him on the wall of the church, the eastern wall of the church, where he lived for the rest of his life, inside this cell, only receiving the Eucharist every day. he would hear the divine praises, or sorry, the office of hours. He would hear the Mass. He would receive the Eucharist, and then he would just sit in his cell all day, and people would just come and look for spiritual advice. And he did that until he died. And then they tried to carry his body to Rome, and they never left the border of the town. Like, there was some sort of, the townspeople said it was some sort of supernatural force that did not allow his body to ever leave. And so to this day, there's a pilgrimage that happens from that church to what they call St. Drago's Cross. From the town of, I want to say it's something, he was born of Flemish descent, so I don't even know what dialect that would be, but whatever town it was, he would leave. They do a pilgrimage from the church to the cross on Trinity Sunday every single year. So
really cool.
yeah,
That's pretty well.
Yeah.
I have no idea why he became the patron saint of coffee, because this was in the 1100s, and the first kind of recollection of coffee was in the 1500s.
Yeah, it was
Not sure what happened there.
the Americas.
But yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So there you go. He's like the patron saint of expectant mothers, patron saint of hernias, patron saint of repulsive people, and coffee houses.
I was gonna ask,
So-
is he the same one that's the patron saint of coffee?
He's like
Yeah.
the patron saint of all these
Some of
like
those make
very
sense.
They're
obscure
very
interesting.
things.
Different.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Yes. So, all right. With all that fun stuff,
Right.
I'm just sitting here and
um,
I'm like, how did you, like, I can see the points in his life of, like, pregnant, like, expectant mothers, and I can see it, but I'm just like, how?
Well, that's what, like, we've talked about that before. Like Isidore of Seville being the patron saint of the internets, and he was alive in what, like
That's
the
hilarious.
1300s.
That's gonna
Like
get plucked
that.
from him.
Well, right. That'll go to Blessed Carlos, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
I just think, like, God willing, we all become saints one day. Like, what random things in my life are they going to be like, she's the patron saint of
Facebook videos. I'm just kidding.
Facebook star? No, I'm just
Facebook
kidding.
Live. Yeah.
Like, what weird things. So be careful what weird things in your life that you are.
It's kind of scary.
I know.
Just get it.
So, our next question that we always like to ask is, do you have a favorite scripture passage?
Yes.
Okay.
I was ordained 1 year ago, May 30th, 2020. The scripture I used for that was from Matthew 4:19. Come after me, and I will make you fishers of men. And before I was ordained, I was just reflecting on my experience, my journey, moving towards holy orders. And I had this profound sense that the only reason I was doing this, the only reason I was going to go through his ordination, was this sense in my soul and myself of following Jesus. Like, I'd been constantly asking in seminary, where do you want me to go? Or where are you going? And just this little by little of him saying, come follow me. So I chose that scripture for my ordination, and knowing hopefully that I would continue to follow him in ministry, up to today.
Nice.
All right. What about you guys? Anything?
In Mass today, I made it to the 6:30 Mass, which was surprising for one, but
Impressive.
survived
Well done.
it.
Well
Listen.
done.
Nicely done. Yes.
I should probably do that more often. But Father Jovito was talking about the gospel today from Matthew chapter 10, I believe, and it's talking about just giving and receiving. And he was talking about kind of getting back into a routine, to say, of offering with expecting nothing in return. And he kind of went on talking about, like, in this past year, that's something I think we've fallen away from a little bit, in the sense of just, like, offering joy and not expecting that in return, or different things in that way. And so he went on, like, a little tangent about just, like, starting with a smile to strangers. He's like, just starting with joy. You can't, like, lose that by giving it to anybody. And I just was thinking about, like, yeah, like, this past year wearing masks and stuff, I think I was avoiding eye contact with anyone I saw, because I was like, if I look at you, I'm gonna get sick. So
That's how it
it was
spreads.
going to
Eye contact.
spread. But so whenever he was talking about that, I'm like, man, yeah, I really got to get back into a better habit of, like, you know, we're not wearing masks so much anymore, and things are changing, and I don't really like to say, like, getting back to normal, but I would like to say that they're progressing in a different way. So I'm like, okay, what can I do differently than I was doing before, and just interacting with not just people I know, but strangers as well, and offering that joy, not expecting anything in return or anything like that. So yeah, he had a really good homily today. It was good. What are you, Andrew?
It's kind of a weird story. So I was at Mary Immaculate yesterday, trying to go to confession, and the line was super, super long, and there was, I guess, some mass that was happening, and so, like, one of the priests had to, like, it's like, sorry guys, I gotta go say mass. We were, like, in the back of the church, and so the line was still going, and while mass was started, and I was like, I really need to go to confession, so I'm sorry, I'm gonna be back here. But it was like a memorial mass of some kind. It wasn't a funeral, there was not a body present, but so I felt extra bad, but so I tried to make sure I was, like, paying attention to the readings and stuff. Yeah. And it was they had the reading from Hebrews of talking about Jesus as the high priest, and how we don't have one who doesn't know, like, what he's not disconnected from us, and that he knows what being human is like, and yet he's also been in heaven, and so just that, talking about that bridge, and it was just a cool, weird moment, but it was extra helpful to focus on whatever was being said, because I felt like I should. So that's what I've been thinking about.
Good.
Yeah.
What about for you, Chelsea?
Oh gosh, a little bit of everything. I mean, I think looking at the gospel reading for this coming weekend I think it's this weekend, or maybe it was last weekend, of, like, take only your sandals.
Yeah, it's this upcoming Sunday.
And so just lots of transition in my own life. And I'm sure, Father Garrett, you probably feel the same way, and, like, having it, you know, it's like, what do you pack, and what do you know, and just realizing, like, it's only the simple things that you need. And just totally relying on the Lord of He's going to provide what's necessary. Yeah.
For me, it actually was the reading from Psalms on restoring us, which is the theme for your guys' Steubenville conference this week, and just thinking about, like, even what you were just saying of how we have to get back to this point where everything is new again in a lot of ways, right? I mean, we're seeing more and more people come back to church, which is such a beautiful thing. And I think it's allowing this opportunity of restoration for the church and for our souls to kind of come back and remember who we are in a lot of ways, and remember our primary vocation in our relationship with God. So yeah, the idea of restoration has been on my mind.
It's honestly, I'm like having this realization now, as I remember in 2019 being at, like, the end of one of the Steubenville conferences, and they were announcing Restore as the theme for 2020. And realizing how fitting that is, that that's happening now, just the way that all works out.
2020, that I wanted so bad for the theme for all of the conferences around the world to be the Beatific Vision. 2020 Beatific Vision. I pushed hard for that one, but nobody would vote for it. The 2020 Vision.
It's like, yeah.
It's super cheesy, which is why it fits all the youth ministry criteria. But yeah, that didn't happen. So
it is. There was somebody posted something. I think it was somebody that's a speaker was a part of the team coming up with, you know, the theme and all of that. And was just talking about how appropriate it was that it didn't happen last year, and it's even more just perfect and relevant to what's needed in our world right now.
Which I didn't even realize it's the Pines' theme for their summer camp is also restored. Yeah. We did Restored as a DCYC conference theme 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
So we're just ahead of everybody. This is what we'll call.
It's because of that 2020 vision.
That's because of the Beatific 2020 vision. Yeah. Thanks a lot. What's your favorite part of being a priest? We got questions coming in already, so we got to try to catch up.
Those Bianchi people, I mean.
Some are from Bianchi's, the others are from Jonathan Roach. Adam Carr asked, "Is that Father New Guy?" So Thanks.
His
Adam.
name's Father Garrett, Adam.
Also,
You did capitalize Father Garrett.
George wants to know if Father Garrett likes Taco Bell. I assume that has something to do with your
That's a
sweatshirt.
good question.
So, okay, we'll try to tackle these in order. Favorite part of being a priest?
What was really cool in just starting out, one of the traditions is people like to come and receive blessings. And I had this really cool sense while I was giving these blessings that they were not coming for me.
Yeah.
They clearly saw that there was something new, and it was something that I could not have made myself. Like, I saw that in a sense they were seeing through me, or beyond me, or behind me, or whatever. And so I tried to give them the best. I would ask them, well, how would you like me to bless you? Just a kind of guiding question to see what was going on in their life. And then I would try and make a prayer that fit their situation. And then oftentimes afterward, they would say, wow, you said some things that really fit, even things that they didn't necessarily tell me, that really fit into what's going on in my life. So I think just to see the desire of people for the priesthood was really cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool because then it also built my own faith. It was like, wow, the priesthood's really real. It's not about me. I had that really cool sense of people desiring the priesthood. And so it helped me want to be available, a better priest for other people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, along those lines, what was it like for you going through the process and then receiving the Sacrament of Holy Orders?
Yeah. Well, so first of all, I think 2020 was going on at the time.
Yes. Yeah.
Probably.
And so
become a marker of all of our lives
Yeah.
in so many ways.
at the time, I had just finished this retreat, and while I was on the retreat, that was the retreat leading up to the presbyteral ordination. That's when all of the news broke. Not that COVID was happening, but that COVID is something we should be worried about. People were finally at that point of not wanting to go to the grocery store, buying toilet paper, and other crazy things. So the world was starting to go insane
Right.
at that point. And so I got back to my seminary after this retreat, and everything's breaking loose. Everybody's heads are off of their shoulders.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to study. I still have class. They're wondering, can we live in the seminary? Is it safe for us to live in the seminary? Should we make these journeys halfway across the country? Will that be safer for us? And I have these 20, 30-page papers I'm writing. So I'm like, I don't have time to worry about this. So I just let other people deal with those decisions. But eventually I did have to go back to Dallas from Washington, D.C., where I studied. And that was a loss of time for me because it was a 2-day drive. And then they made me quarantine for 14 days because I was going to live with a priest, and they didn't want me to kill that priest just in case I got COVID from one of the gas pumps.
Right.
So
or making eye contact.
Or making eye contact.
Yep. Okay.
So then I was in this quarantine place for the first time in many years away from the Eucharist. Which was something, in that sense, I did join with everybody because that was, I know during that time, most people had been alienated in some way from the Eucharist.
Yeah.
So, but I still had to do my studies. So that semester I wrote, 150 pages, something like that. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, priesthood ordination is happening. So I need to stop writing my papers and start praying. And so at that point, I went to pray. I went to pray in the chapel. I went to pray outdoors. I was trying to take time away from being stressed from writing papers. And what I was asking for the Lord was for peace in approaching this sacrament. And I don't know why in particular I wanted peace, but in my mind was I never wanted to doubt from the time I was ordained until the time I died that I was called to the priesthood. And so I wanted to approach this sacrament with the greatest freedom possible. I wanted to approach it with joy, joy that would overcome any of the difficulties I had gone through, that would motivate me moving forward to think back. I entered into this freely, and now I can give myself, and in a sense die daily freely. And it was really joyful. It was so joyful. And lots of things bad happened. Not bad, but the little plans I made kept falling apart. And I was like, okay, this is great. All my plans are falling apart. But I still was making it through. The second Mass I celebrated, there were some mistakes, and I was just like, oh man, I really want to do everything perfect. But I was okay,
Yeah.
I had lunch afterward and moved on with my life.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
It's all okay.
So, okay, you had your first Mass here Friday, last Friday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you did the Masses on Sunday. So how's your first week here been?
Very nice. So, obviously I moved, but I try to, every time I move, I try to get rid of things. So I was getting rid of some things. I also was writing my thesis at the time. I turned in my thesis, I think earlier this week. I had that homily to write, so I was writing that homily. And I had a lot of people looking over that homily for this last weekend. So I felt confident in it. And then what most impressed me was just smiling faces.
Yeah.
Everywhere I went, I saw smiling faces, people happy to see, a priest. I think it's a beautiful moment when the bishop, successor of the apostles, in a sense, branch from Peter, he sends a new fisher or a new servant into a community, and the people have an opportunity to come in contact again with those sacraments, the hierarchical church, or the church that was established by Christ. And I'm just excited to be here. 2020 is a great time because there's all of the change happening that people expect anyway.
Yeah.
And so everything's fresh, everything's new for everyone. And so I'm just one of those new awesome surprises that 2021 is bringing.
Yeah.
So
we have a viewer, Jonathan, who asked, do you feel like being a younger priest has influenced your approach to ministry, or is your age not something you wish to factor into your priesthood?
I'll give both sides of that, because I think it's very important for all of us, for every single person, to respect their elders. And for me, not only does that mean respecting the people who've come before me in this parish, but it also means respecting the older brothers of the presbyter, because we're a college or a community of presbyters, which is a Greek word meaning elders. So I went to a meeting the other day, and I saw all of the wisdom of the presbyterate gathered, and I was trying to approach that as a new priest. And I tell myself over and over again, I know nothing. And I think that's the most important thing. Hopefully that kind of mentality continues, into the future, but it's very important to receive counsel and to approach things with a fresh perspective. But I think on the other hand, me being a new priest, I can't be afraid, because I know nothing, I can't be afraid not to act. There's the example of that young guy in the book of Job. Those three elders come in and they're telling Job, well, it's obvious you're suffering because you've sinned, and if you just admit what you've done and you admit the fault that you've had, then you'll get good with God. And this young guy comes in, knowing nothing, and he said, well, what if Job is not suffering because of some fault? What if he's just suffering for some other reason? We don't know it.
Yeah.
And I believe that young guy was not speaking from his own wisdom, but from the wisdom of God.
Right.
And so I have to be open to the possibility of God working through me. And what that means is I have to actually do things.
Yeah.
So I can't let my lack of wisdom frees me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. I think we probably all have been in experiences of that where we all have somebody that we kind of look to mentor us in different ways, but then there's decisions that you just have to make sometimes. It's like I discern that this is the will of God to make this decision in the right way. Do you like Taco Bell? Get into the important stuff.
I think
here.
my favorite. So in high school, I would have this bean and cheese burrito, and I would have these bean and cheese burritos
from Taco Bell.
No,
Okay.
this was from like in San Antonio, an authentic taqueria.
Okay.
And now Taco Bell, I do go there and I get their 50-cent tacos or whatever.
Yeah.
Get like 20 of those or whatever we need.
You mean just you?
But I want
by yourself?
I would like my tacos cooked by an abuela.
Yeah.
From a tío, somebody who I know, is gonna cook that taco with love. And
Yeah.
not to say that's not possible at Taco Bell.
You can
Mrs.
say
Perez.
that. You can say that.
And that was a great way of answering that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to use that answer. I have to
I
borrow
just
that one.
flat out say no.
If you're okay with that.
Do you have a particular charism or devotion that you practice?
Well, yeah. So I pray the Rosary, and about 4 years ago, or I don't remember the exact dates, I stopped praying the Rosary, and it was through I didn't make a decision. I think I just fell off the practice. And then I saw my life. I was like, wow, everything in my life is going wrong. What's happening? And I looked back before I entered seminary to my days in college, and I looked to that moment in my life where it seemed like I was more alive, where I was living the person who I wanted to be. And I realized around that time there were a couple things that happened. But one of them was I started praying the Rosary, and I tangibly saw that by me having that relationship with Mother Mary, the mother of Jesus, I had a friend who was looking out for me in heaven. And then I saw when I stopped praying the Rosary, not that I no longer had a friend in heaven, but that I was neglecting my friend in heaven,
right.
Mary. And so I was like, okay, I need to start praying the Rosary again. And I started praying the Rosary again. And again, I felt that strength and that support of having and relying upon my friend in heaven. I also wear the scapular, which is Carmelite devotion, but that's connected to the Rosary. Those who wear the scapular, there are a couple ways you can wear the scapular, but one of them is praying the Rosary daily. And so I attribute that. What would I attribute that to? To my still being Christian, if you want to say it, to not being, to not abandoning the church. The church is also our mother, and I try to make that. I try to take that time in my day for Mary, to be a friend of Mary. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that might be one of the simplest and most beautiful explanations of why we have a devotion to Mary that I think we've ever heard. Because it's one of those things that we get asked the question all the time of like, why do we pray to Mary? Why do we do this? And you try to explain it, and you try to articulate it, and there's still like people just look at you like you're speaking a different language, and you're like, ugh, I tried. And maybe that's it. It's like, okay, I had a friend, I talked to my friend, then I neglected my friend. And it's not like that friend disappeared. It was me. I chose to neglect that relationship. And so things in my life changed because of that neglect. And then when I went back to that relationship, I saw the fruit of what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Very cool. You're coming with us to Steubenville, us being that couch. Going with them to Steubenville. You're going to a different Steubenville.
Yeah.
I am
Going home.
going home.
Going to his own Steubenville.
Yeah.
I'm going to my house of worship, sort of.
Sure.
Going to my house.
Your domestic church.
Yeah, my domestic church.
You can live that way with it.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. Have you done a Steubenville conference before?
I've definitely been to Lone Star.
Okay.
I went to one in Louisiana. I don't remember the name of it.
Alexandria?
Probably
Homa Thibodeau?
Alexandria.
Or Homa
It's one of
Thibodeau.
those two. Yeah.
I'm going to say, for now, Alexandria.
Sounds good.
And I've been to DCYC.
Okay.
And so this will be my third Steubenville.
Okay. How have your experiences been?
Of Steubenville?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I went as a chaperone each time, specifically as a seminarian. And what I see there is an opportunity for youth, and all of us have a desire for God. That's our final purpose in life. But I see those youth and spend time with other people, who are also desiring to be close to God. And so I saw the youth spend that time. I saw them come on fire in a sense. And I was there with them. I spent time with them. I tried to. They would always ask me questions because they thought I had answers. So I would do my best to think of something to say and spend time with them. But it was always nice. It was always nice to spend time with the youth, just to support them, because I know I needed a lot of support when I was young, and I think specifically of a few people. I was in Boy Scouts. There was a guy who was there for me, who helped me grow up into an adult, and I'd like to help other people. Yeah.
So for you guys, I don't know how many Steubenvilles this is for you. What have been some of your experiences with the conferences?
This will be my fourth Steubenville. 1, 2, 3. Third Steubenville. I did not go as a teen, but have gone since being here at All Saints. And I love just that gathering of young people. And I'm even more excited to be going to Mid-America, because there'll be even more people coming from various places, and that opportunity for our young people to be gathered with others from throughout the United States, of just seeing, like, I'm not in my own little local church, that this is like seeing the universal church. And that's something I've experienced through like national conferences and such, having that gathering, because I think often for them, especially some of them that are in public schools, it's really difficult to see like, oh, other people are Catholic and there's other people going through the same struggles that I'm going through, and but there is the whole universal church and the body of Christ, that we are one. And I mean, there'll be probably just under like 2,000 people at this conference, which will be exciting for them to just all kind of be gathered. And I think it's that, I mean, I remember I went to a national conference when I was in college, and there was like 24,000 people, and you just step into the arena and you're like, oh wow, like this is the church. I feel like we've been talking about this our whole life, but like this is, the young church here. So I love them having that experience. One of many. What about you?
I was doing the math. I think this is actually the 5th time I'll be at Steubenville, which
Okay.
sounds like a number that it sounds higher than it should be. But yeah, I think those are great ways. It's a really great opportunity, I think, for kickstarting a relationship with Christ for a lot of the teens who have, I don't know, for me, when I was in high school, obviously I was going to church and all, but I think Steubenville was a turning point for me, in that I realized like there's more going on with the things that I'm already doing. And there's obviously a temptation with something like Steubenville or seeking. There's the lights and the show and the music and all that, and there's a temptation to say that like, well, that's the cool part. It's like, well, no, but there is a use for it, and
Right.
I think it's a great starting point, especially for our teens, to remember that that the mass that they go to is, like you said, it's something that Christ gave to the whole world, and it's something that there are other people, other people are trying to live the faith and doing it, and I don't know, from your same point in life. I just think it's a really great moment of evangelization, or kind of a reset, or I guess restoring in this case, whether or not that's the theme. I just think that's always a great point of like where am I at? Step back and what have I forgotten about in my faith? I think it's a great opportunity for everybody.
Yep.
And you're going to Steubenville this weekend, but not the same Steubenville, and you do it from a very different perspective. So,
Yeah.
how many Steubenvilles have you been to? Could you even count?
It's like 3 or 4 summer, but I didn't go last year, so
Okay.
but since like 2017, so I don't know, maybe at least like 10, maybe
Okay.
12. I don't know. I could talk about that forever, just because it's such a. I attribute like a lot of my growth as a photographer to Life Team, because whenever I started working for them in 2017, that was like a really big like kind of push start with everything I started doing, and a lot that I learned from them. I learned so much about like photographing, but also being reverent in times of like adoration and things like that I use in like Catholic weddings now. People are always like, oh, I love having a Catholic wedding photographer, because like the parts of the mass and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned all of that from them and all of the people there. I've just had like, it's so cool how it happens so often, but every experience is so unique. I swear I like cry at least twice every time I'm on one, because I'm just like seeing so many different perspectives and like get so emotional. There was one, I guess it had to be 2019 Lone Star was the only conference that I was working and 2 of my siblings were like at it, and it was just like, like the Saturday night is like the biggest thing. But I think I had like pictures of y'all there, because I was like, I remember seeing
Yeah,
That's so
you
funny.
took our pictures.
so weird.
There we go.
Yep.
But
We were
like
all there.
my siblings, I think they were like in 2 different groups at the time, but I just remember running around seeing them, and then like that Saturday night with everything. There's like one staple photo that I took of my brother that they like use for a lot of things now, and I'm just like, oh, it's like him with like the Eucharist, like priest is holding it like right above him.
Oh,
And I was
cool.
like literally like in tears while I was taking the photo, because I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so cool. So it's so unique every time, and especially after not doing it last year, like I'm so excited this weekend. It's so exhausting, and it's
I'm sure.
a lot, but
It's very, yeah, it's very
it's fun to meet a lot of people, fun to get to see everyone again, because it's been a while, so it'll be good.
I don't know who captioned those pictures that you took, but
Not me.
the Texas Catholic
Oh, that was
had it
them,
in the
yeah.
article that youth from All Saints, and it's me and Andrew
And Adam
and Chris
and Peter,
Lawhorn
yeah.
and Adam Carr and Peter, and it's
like 5 adults.
They're literally the
Yeah.
only male
We were
adult
sitting to the
chaperones we
side.
had. We're off to the side from where our teens actually were doing our own small group,
Yeah.
and it's like teens from, and I was like, which one of us?
The one with the
still
beard?
kinda look like a
the one
teen.
with the beard, or the other one
Or
with
the other one
beard?
with the beard, or the other one with the beard, right? It's like, none of us are teens, but thanks.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
It was pretty great. So, Steubenville conferences are fantastic. I mean, I have had the blessing of probably going to, 15 of them now, something like that.
Jeez.
And they're really just, I can probably look back at all of them and see moments that are like linchpin moments for so many young people. I know we've referenced back so many times to the one with Alexa maybe being one of the most profound, and just like the experience and how all of that happened. So we had a young woman that was from a Methodist that started coming to our youth ministry stuff and was involved in everything, and I told her, I was like, look, you're always welcome to be here. I'm never going to pressure you to becoming Catholic until you give me permission to, and then I will. And we were at the conference, and we had a lot of fun that day anyway. We had gone to like the Dallas Museum of Arts, got ourselves into a little bit of trouble and had fun, but they had adoration that night, and we were on the 2nd floor of this conference center, and the chandeliers were shaking in the room because of how loud everything was, and the kids jumping up and down, and like they had a veterans retreat down on the bottom floor where like lighting fixtures were coming down. It was like it was
That was
nuts.
the one where everything started to fall apart. in
Yes,
that
it
hotel.
was
Yes,
literally
okay.
falling
It was
Yes.
it was amazing. It was fantastic,
Yes.
and I mean they had like 3,500, 3,000
Yeah, it was
something.
really
It was
big,
it was
yeah.
packed.
It was the
It
first
jam-packed.
semester, yeah.
But we're walking out of adoration, and Alexa comes over to me and she's like, "That was Jesus." And I totally dismissed it and was like, "Yeah, I know," and just kept walking. And she was like, "No, that was Jesus." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And she's like, "Yeah, like, I get it." She was sitting on the edge of the aisle as they did the procession, and I was like, "Oh, like, now." And Sister Mary Paul was walking right by us at that moment, and it was just so great because I was like, "Alexa, sister, Alexa, let's play a game." Yeah, like, so it was fantastic. But so there was that. There's been lots of moments where God has been very present in that, and then watching teens that come back from that conference and be on fire, and that fire being something that is retained throughout the rest of the time that they're involved in our ministry. It doesn't always end up being one of these moments where it's like, "Oh, look, I'm all the way up here because of the conference," and then I come back home and I'm all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's got to be some follow-up.
Some retention and follow-up, yeah. So it's a great conference. They do a great job. I'm excited for you guys to come back and hear all the great stories. And then, we've got DCYC coming in February. And
Right.
it'll be another one that'll be really big.
Mark your calendars. President's Day weekend.
Yes. I don't know the actual date.
19th, 20th, and 21st.
Yes! I don't know.
Of February?
If Ann Keogh's watching,
Does that
she's
sound
gonna be
right?
very mad at me for saying that.
I'm just nodding my head.
You're just gonna.
We're all just going to go, yes!
You're gonna all agree with
So
me.
it's in February. I said that. I got that right.
It
So is it
February.
time?
Maybe.
it's time.
Is it time?
It's
About
about that
that
time.
About that
It's
time?
11:49. Adam, I will try to find the
gonna say,
picture.
I'm looking for
I can always contact the photographer and see if he still has it. But it's like the back of your head. Sorry.
It is the 19th.
Okay. See, we all knew.
Got my
what we were
dates.
talking
Got.
about. Lightning round. Did we warn you about this?
We can just try.
All right.
I kind of didn't.
We're gonna have
sorry.
a series
Yeah.
of like, would you rather kind of questions. Is it this
Like
or
a
that?
this or that kind of thing.
Yeah, we asked one this morning. Okay, I want to start
Yeah.
with this
You
one.
want to start with this one? Okay, hold on. We gotta wait for the timer.
Oh, sorry. You're right.
Oh, that's right.
That's a very polite way to say that. Thank you.
Yeah.
We gotta wait for Andrew to click the button.
Okay,
Please.
I don't know
Sorry,
if this is.
I
I don't know if
it was
this is a
great.
time
It was
question,
awesome.
or if it's
I just meant like told him to wait. I don't know what you.
no,
I wasn't even watching you.
Maybe this is just a warm up before we get into the actual questions. But I had asked the question this morning based off of a conversation that we were having. Would you rather only watch movies that are made by or owned by Disney, or everything else?
But not Disney.
Everything else.
Okay. I think I'd have to go back to Disney.
I know, that's what I'm just...
It's like made or
It's the
owned.
Star Wars and Marvel that, like, messed
sure,
me
yeah.
up.
Find a picture. Yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah.
We don't have to.
Sorry.
Just a great response from Jonathan. That's all. What about Disney or everything else?
Yes. I'm
It's all right.
gonna go with Disney because eventually they're just gonna own all of it. So then
Also, it might be true.
it'll work.
That's a good
Disney
point.
may
That's a
eventually
good
own
point.
everything.
Just for that.
Yep.
I don't know. But then Star Wars. I know because this is the practice.
Yeah,
Okay.
this was our warm up.
By
So,
the
yeah.
way.
We're practicing prophetic art. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
listen
you
to
said
this.
Disney. Okay, you're asking the question. Father Garrett will answer
I did say Disney.
first, and then I will go Erica, Andrew, and you.
I like
We're
how
good?
we've all done this like so many times, but he
We
was
still
the
don't
fastest
know.
one to answer.
Yes.
We still
We're
take
terrible
so long.
at lightning round.
Yeah.
Really,
We've done this
really
for
bad.
61 weeks, and we're no, not 61, maybe like 57 weeks.
Yeah.
Well,
We're
we
still
had some that
doing
were
it.
pre-recorded. Right. All right, we're ready. Let's do it. Lightning round, fast as we can.
All right.
The good news is it'll be the fastest time we've ever done it with Father Garrett. Either way.
And go.
Would you rather have a rewind button or a pause button on your life?
Pause.
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 Chelsea.
Rewind. Just to be different.
She paused.
I did pause. Would you rather lose your vision or your hearing?
My hearing.
Hearing.
Hearing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with hearing too.
Hearing. Would you rather be able to talk with animals or speak every language?
Speak every language.
Speak every language.
Talk with animals.
Speak every
For
language.
sure.
Today, I would want to speak to animals. Because then my
No, we gotta go. Come on, lightning round.
Would you rather be stuck on a broken ski lift or in a broken elevator?
Broken ski lift.
Ski lift.
Yeah, ski lift. There's
So I can
Ski lift.
see the outside world. No,
Would you rather go to a movie alone or dinner alone?
Movie alone.
Movie.
Movie.
yeah, movie.
I've gone to a movie
You
alone.
have to confront your loneliness
it's-
less.
Oh, it's so nice.
Would you rather read a book or watch a movie?
Read a book.
Probably a movie.
Movie.
I don't know, I'm gonna say read a book.
Watch a movie.
Depends.
Would you rather go
Okay.
deep sea diving or bungee jumping?
Deep sea diving.
Deep sea diving.
Bungee jumping.
No.
Deep sea diving.
Deep sea diving.
The laugh there.
Mm.
Don't want to jump with the rubber
Would you
band.
rather go a week without your phone or a week without the internet?
Week without the internet.
internet?
Just at all. Not be able to use your phone.
5
Yeah.
years without the internet.
Probably be good.
Kind of. Yeah, I'm gonna internet.
Internet?
Internet? I'm Andrew Darling.
Gotta answer with statement. not
Since
question.
you've been in school, would you rather do a group project or work alone?
Group project.
Group project.
Work alone.
You work alone.
Group project.
Mm.
Would you rather be too hot or too cold?
Too cold.
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 Cool.
Cold.
Always.
That's why it's freezing up here.
Would you rather spend the day with your favorite
Sorry.
athlete or your favorite actor?
My
actress?
favorite actor.
Followed by.
Yeah, I don't know. Actor.
Yeah, actor.
Actor.
Like zero confidence in that answer.
Actor?
Is it acting?
I can't even think of who my favorite athlete or actor is. I was like, I don't know anymore.
I know I don't have a favorite athlete.
Just 'cause they're
There you go. That's. I mean,
Could
at
I
least
name
you
an
have
athlete?
confidence
I
in
don't know.
that. I'm like,
Would you rather have to sew all your own clothes
So all my own clothes.
or grow all your own food?
Just whatever the other.
super lightning. He's faster than my question. What was it? So close or
The
what?
lightning
Sew
round.
your
That's
own
the way it's
clothes
supposed
or
to
grow your own food?
So close.
Grow food.
Yeah, so close.
That would be.
I like
but
food
not.
too much, and I'd ruin it quickly.
Would you rather be known for a famous book or a famous song?
Famous book.
Like for writing
Like if you wrote it or you
book.
sang a song?
I would pick
Perform.
book.
Yeah, I think book.
book. Yeah.
I mean, if I could sing, I'd want to sing a song. I mean, I guess we can all sing.
You can sing. Anybody
Can we sing well? That's the question.
True.
Last one. Would you rather spend the night in an aquarium or in a botanical garden?
Aquarium.
Aquarium.
Erica's like, where can I take the best pictures?
Botanical garden.
I'm gonna go with aquarium.
I'm gonna
But I
go
like
with
underwater.
You have to sleep in a
an aquarium. Hopefully, the animals stay in the cages or in the
Tanks.
tanks.
What kind of aquarium do you go
Who's the,
to?
the Dallas Aquarium
Zoos
has
that
like a
things
slot.
get out of.
I think we did
Yeah,
that
they got that
almost
bird,
like.
too.
That was it.
Don't they have
That was good.
lock-ins in aquariums anyway?
Yeah, sometimes.
So you could. Sleep.
There you go.
This already happens.
There you go. Well, thank you, everybody. We did that in 4 minutes and 19 seconds, which means we have 4 minutes left to do
Whoa.
it. We usually give ourselves 10 minutes to do lightning round because we're
'Cause it
so
takes
slow.
us that
Usually
long.
take
Yeah,
that.
that's fantastic. So, Rita, who is one of our parishioners here,
And our parents of
said-
one of our teens who's going to Steubenville.
Yeah.
Rita,
May the Lord
please
bless
pray
you
for
and
us
be
this
with you
weekend
for
that
everything.
our
Sorry.
sleep is multiplied because I'm not sure we will actually
Get any.
be multiplying our own sleep. The Lord will have to do that.
Yeah. You'll get some sleep on the
Bus.
Everybody take their allergy medicine.
Don't forget it.
Yeah. So Father Garrett, do you have any parting words for this as you hopefully everybody will see you after this, but
Or if you want to think about your parting words, I have another question for you.
Okay.
What's your favorite thing that you're looking forward to, like being in a parish? Like being in parish life?
Well, I'll say this. I'm looking forward to getting to know the school. We have All Saints Catholic School here. I've been telling the teachers to invite me to the classrooms. I think Catholic education is important. On the same token, getting to know those parents who are going through that task of raising their own children and catechizing them, saying their prayers with them every night, supporting those parents. I want the families to flourish at this parish.
Very good.
I'm excited by that, aren't you? Absolutely.
Awesome.
Look forward to having you as part of the mission as we continue to figure out how we can foster the relationship with families and foster the relationship between the parish and the school. Very unique challenge of those 3.1 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great
You would think it's
people
much
up there.
further. Yeah, a great
But
place.
Fantastic teachers and administration, and it's going to be an exciting year. So
Very good.
glad you're here.
Thank you.
So
Glad
back to
you
your parting
did this
thoughts.
with us. Yeah.
Pray for us, please, as we go on the Steubenville trip. We are going to be traveling a long way. We want safe travels on our bus ride. We want all of that equipment to work, and we also want all of our youth and chaperones to be led by the Lord and very prayerful and recollected this weekend to grow in our own spiritual lives and to pray for the continued restoration of the whole world.
Very good.
Very
Yeah, that takes care of our time. We don't have anything else that we need to say and
think
do.
we're set.
And so thank you everybody for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, do all those fun things for us. I'm sure we'll probably be able to talk Father Garrett into coming and hang out with us for other coffee chats in the future and some other stuff that we do. So keep an eye out for that. He's kind of becoming a internet celebrity on us.
That's to say, there's no chance.
Been on all the things over the last week. So keep an eye out for that as well. So God bless you guys.
Pray
we'll
for
see
us,
you again
we'll
next
pray
week.
for you.
Lots of prayers for us. Also, next week will be the last episode with Chelsea, who will be going back home to Baton Rouge. So please, if that is news to you, sorry to break
Sorry
it that
you're
way.
finding out this
But
way.
please keep her in your prayers as well. And for all of us here at All Saints, pray for us. Know that we're praying for you. God bless you guys. Bye.